back, guys. So we're taking a look at Red Sun, and yes, I'm doing this on my couch because it was an exhausting week, as I'm sure it's been for everybody. This has been a crazy year so far, hasn't it? So Red Sun is directed by Sam Lee and stars the voice talents of Jason Isaacs as Superman, Diedrich Bader as Lex Luthor, and Amy Acker as Lois Lane. And it follows, well, it tries to, the novelization of this story, Red Sun, which is basically a what if Kal-El landed in Russia instead of America, and what type of person he would be. So this one is, I was a bit disappointed. There's some good stuff here. Visuals, I actually like the animation here. It can be a bit stiff in some places, and guys, I'm gonna get a bit spoilery here, so warning. For instance, there's like scenes where Diana and Superman are dancing, and it just feels really, the animation is kind of weird. Everything is just still in the background, kind of wooden. Their movements are really wooden, so the animation here isn't as fluid as I would have hoped. Fight sequences are not too bad, but visuals, it's not a total loss. There's some scenes that really jump out at you, and it does make that emotional impact. For me, the scene where Superman finds out that Stalin has all these people basically as slaves to build his dams and his infrastructure for him, and we do have a cool scene there with a young Bruce Wayne, and how he basically becomes Batman in that world, or their version of Batman. I love there's basically a lack of color to the scene until he frees the people and he walks out into the sunlight, and the color just pops in at that moment. I really love that. It's one of my favorite visuals in this. But and voice acting wise, I'm trying to stick with the positives here. Voice acting wise, they do a good job. Jason Isaacs, I mean, the Russian is very cartoonish, but I didn't really have a problem with that. I think Amy Acker, Diedrich Bader did wonderful jobs. Everybody really does bring emotional weight to what they're working with, even though the dialogue is a bit dodgy, but we'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, voice cast, if I wanted to grade it, I would say the voice acting gets like a 7 out of 10, and the visuals get a 6 out of 10. Where this movie disappointed me was the story, and maybe that's just gonna be people like myself who have read this comic, because this is one of the best and one of my personal favorite Superman stories. I love what if stories in comic books. I absolutely love them, and Red Sun is one of the best, if not the best, what if that has ever been written, especially when it comes to Superman, because the story here is so complex, where we have look at how different people can be depending on their worldviews and where they come from, and we also have the ending of this novel is so damn good. It's such a twist. I won't spoil that for you, but the ending is fantastic. It's one of those jaw-dropper endings. When I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And it speaks to that almost Ouroboros-like relationship between Superman and Lex Luthor. That's what this is here. We always have to talk about the dichotomy between Batman and Joker. It's almost like what would one be without the other? I don't want to spoil it, but it's a wonderful ending. And the novel itself, I mean, it touches on so many different things, not just about communism and freedom and all of that, but what it would be like to have the power of Superman and basically be a god. Would you want to make the world a better place, but are you really doing that if you're fixing everything for everybody? What are we as humans if we don't have struggle? So it has some wonderful story beats to that novel. And here they basically butcher most of it. And there's this whole almost, there's this political aspect of it, you know, it's no way or the American way kind of thing going on with the battle that takes place between Bizarro Superman. It was what I will call him. I think they're calling him Superior Superman, something like that, or Superior Man, yeah. It just felt like it was dumbed down. So much good stuff was pulled out for the runtime, and it suffers badly. And the dialogue also it feels it's either too over the top or too cheesy or too wooden. It doesn't flow naturally the way the writing does, you know. It's a sad, it's disappointing, not sad, but it's disappointing. I think if you've read the novel, you've read the graphic novel, this is going to probably piss you off to some extent. If you haven't, maybe you would look at this and enjoy this a hell of a lot more than I did. Story wise, for me, this was a 4.5 out of 10, guys. I think it would have worked better if this was a mini series, if they had handled this as a not like an ongoing mini series, but like a limited run series where they could hit all those beats. Because Red Sun, like Watchmen, has a lot to say, and to try to unpack that in one movie, that would never work. It didn't work for Watchmen, and it didn't work here for me. So guys, I'm giving Red Sun a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad DC movie, but I enjoyed Gods and Monsters, which in itself is a what if. That is still like my top 3 favorite DC animated movies of all time. Under the Red Hood, Gods and Monsters is right up there. Red Sun unfortunately falls on the lower end for me, and I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. And that's it, guys. So stay safe, hashtag social distancing, and don't go crazy. Some of us are going a little stir crazy, so find stuff to fill your time with, enjoy spending time with your family, and until next time, bye bye.